West Wednesday 590, Justice for Tyrone West, Justice for all victims of police brutality. Tawanda, it's all you.
I apologize, guys, in advance that I can't see you live in the flesh. I apologize, but I am delightful that I'm able to come through the audio piece. Unfortunately, now, last week I was on crystal clear, and then mysteriously, since my gate was open and stuff was all probably placed around the house jammers, so now I can't access anything. Like, it's just crazy right now. But any old rate, sorry that we started up a little bit later than 7:30, but you don't want to miss our special guest. His name is Marquise Bowie. We're going to show a video that we show every week, and I will come back on, and we will bring our special guest on. So I'm going to do a mic check, and we're going to go to the video. And if you're on YouTube, on Facebook, like, share, and subscribe. Mic check.
Mic check.
Can't stop, won't stop, till killer cops are in cell blocks. Can't stop.
The following video portrays an incident of assault and violence at the hands of police. Viewer discretion is advised.
I suggest you back the fuck up.
No.
This is Baltimore City Police Officer Jorge Bernardes Ruiz. In a video shot in 2016, Ruiz is seen with his knee on the back of an unknown man with a gun pointed at the man's head. His message was a clear one. Concerned onlookers, adhere to my dictates or else. Here, we can hear Ruiz saying to Baltimore residents,
I suggest you back the fuck up.
No.
It is documented that Baltimore police officer Jorge Bernardes Ruiz is a repeat violent offender, even without access to all complaints against Ruiz, undisclosed by BPD Internal Affairs records. 6 cases involving Ruiz are known. This video will briefly highlight 6 total cases beginning in July of 2013. Case 1, Abdul Salam, July 1st, 2013. Here Salam is seen victoriously smiling in celebration after the jury found Ruiz and 2 other cops liable for brutality against him. However, because the trial was civil, not criminal, Ruiz was not fired and he did not go to jail.
Police profiled me. They followed me in the back of my house, harassing me. Police proceeded to violently and hostilely approach my van with me and my son in it. As I announced, this was my home, guns drawn. Once they reached my vehicle, they violently pulled me out, ramshacked my vehicle with my 3-year-old son strapped in his car seat, threw me against the gate, slammed me repeatedly, picked me up by my feet, and while I'm upside down, they proceeded to drop me on my head, hog-tie me, and immediately when I fell on my head, Ruiz, in a wrestling type of action, and kind of hit his knee against my neck. I was arrested. I had no idea what I was being arrested for. My son is scarred to this day. He remembers the incident as it happened yesterday. When he talks about it, he always refers to Daddy being on the floor with police yesterday.
Case 2, Darrell Harris, profiled, as seen in this video, July 17th, 2013.
Yeah, Sid, what's wrong with it? Improper way with it. There's no such thing as an improper way.
You gonna tell me my job, bro?
I know the law.
Are you gonna tell me the law?
I know the law.
You gonna tell me the law?
I know the law. What's the problem? You giving me a ticket? You need my license registration?
Yeah, let me get it up.
Profile, y'all use the seatbelt as a reason. Profile.
Do me a favor, take out your keys.
Yeah, you can record. For what? Nah. I don't feel safe right now. Do you want me to step out the car? Do you want me to step out the car? I'll step out the car. Call the police, man. What do you call a supervisor? I won't do shit. This is getting uploaded to the internet right now. Yeah?
And we are two law-abiding citizens that we are getting targeted, and I don't know why.
Just 24 hours later, Bernardes Ruiz played a leading role in the police killing of unarmed Tyrone West. Case number 3, the murder of Tyrone West, July 18th, 2013.
My brother Tyrone West was brutally murdered on July the 18th, 2013.
In both of these cases, when you look at the pleadings and the harsh language of these officers that have been quoted to me by reliable witnesses, the N-word.
And Killer Ruiz and Killer Chapman and the rest of those 11 and 15 killers, including David Lewis, took something from my family that they could never give us again. And that was my brother Tyrone West, one unarmed man who was brutally murdered, beat to death in broad daylight.
Mic check.
Mic check.
Mic check.
Mike.
Thank you.
Mic
guys.
check.
Mic check.
Definitely appreciate you. And our king that we have on tonight, Mr. Marquise Bowie, he has so many hats. Like, I don't even know where to begin with his introduction. As we all saw, George Floyd getting brutally executed and murdered, this brother took his time and everything to do something really amazing. And no further ado, I'm just going to, he's a father of 2 beautiful daughters. He's also a grandfather, so he has a lot going on. He does a lot in the community. And God knows that we need that, to teach our brothers how to be men. It's easier said than done, but when you're modeling, you're showing them the right things to do. That's awesome and amazing. So no further ado, I'm just going to hand the mic over to our brother Marquise. Marquise, is all yours. You can introduce yourself and let everybody know what all the beautiful and amazing work that you're doing. Mic check.
Mic check.
Mic check. Mic check. Thanks for having me, first and foremost, and I'm sorry for your loss. But I'm a community organizer in the George Floyd Square, the place that is known for the murder of George Floyd, May 25th of 2020. We were all sitting at home during COVID to watch his brother brutally get murdered on live, as this young lady named Darnella Frazier was videotaping outside of a corner store that I used to frequently patronize. And I'm just one of those public safety advocates, man, a returning citizen, brother, that's really trying to put something positive in the community. I'm with this nonprofit called the Agape Movement, which became public safety in our own neighborhood after the murder of George Floyd, because over 300 Minneapolis police officers that quit the force or retired due to them being held accountable. And we took the initiative just to keep our own community safe against anybody that was coming to do harm, specifically with white supremacy running rampant throughout the United States, burning down buildings and things of that nature. And we wasn't finna stand for that, for our neighborhood being burnt down, because we knew that if the store where George Floyd got murdered burned down, the movement probably wouldn't have been as strong. So we do a lot of work on criminal justice reform and restoring voting rights, and just everything that our community would need from Black men in our communities.
That's wonderful.
And yes, that's amazing. I remember when George Floyd was killed, me and some other activists, we went to join my brother down there, and we did something. I know we went through where George Floyd was killed, and it's seeing all that stuff up there, and then how we had graveyard, like with all the names, like it was just like so powerful. It just was like amazing. You know, it was sad because it's like a club nobody signs up for other than like being sad of what happened to our brother, and then brothers and sisters that are being murdered, slaughtered around the world, you know. But just to have people pull together in solidarity for one cause, one fight, one purpose type of thing is really beautiful and amazing to me. And I just want to like just give you a big virtual hug right now just for all the work you're putting in, and just it's just amazing. And you jack of all trades, and definitely appreciate you, and you know, definitely appreciate you, and like all that stuff was happening. Is there anything like that you saw that like really caught your eyes, like when everything first erupted, like you know when George Floyd was first murdered, and then like we're in this pandemic now, people can't just like come home and turn off their TV, or you know everybody's like kind of forced and stuck at the screen. Then it's a holiday type of thing. I think it was on Memorial Day if I'm not mistaken, but we're all forced there to see a person's literally soul leave their body, which was very sad and very heartbreaking. Like, how was that for you? And you know, what were you doing on that day, if I could ask you?
Yes, I was personally working, so I wasn't really fully aware until like the next. I was getting calls about something that happened on 30th Chicago that we call it seeing that neighborhood has struggled for decades with substance abuse, homelessness, addiction, and gang activity. So to get a call was kind of really not surprising. But then after we really got a chance, because I didn't see the video till like the next day, but I called one of the store owners that I have been knowing to ask him what had happened. You know, I had heard little whispers, and we were told that somebody tried to come and buy some cigarettes or something with a fake or counterfeit $20 bill, and it just snowballed from there. And I didn't know George Floyd personally, never met him, didn't know anything about him, because he really didn't have no ties to the community that I'm from. But later learning that, you know, he had moved to Minneapolis from Houston. I actually work with one of his aunties now, and just being the voice of the voiceless. His different is no different from Freddie Gray's or Michael Brown's or anybody else, your brothers. And the only difference between George Floyd's murder and any other murder that's on video was probably COVID. I mean, we were sitting at home during COVID. People could almost say what they were wearing and know exactly what they were doing at the time. And the place where he killed is treated like an isolated incident, but we know it's not. And this shook up a lot of people, because a lot of people that are not black would assume that the system is broken when they saw George Floyd's murder. But I go on to tell people the system is working exactly how it's designed, because we have a bunch of examples of people getting killed by police and people not believing what black people are saying. Even watching videos, they'll say, well, why did he resist, or why did he run, or why did she do this, that, and the third, when you couldn't deny those facts after you saw the murder of George Floyd. So one of the positives that I can say, and it's not that many, I can say I've seen the world kind of rally around this brother that we all call George Floyd now. And it's brought a lot of awareness, quote unquote, to a lot of people, but it doesn't really seem like a lot is changed, honestly, in my opinion. And just with the election results, that showed people that, man, we got a lot of work to do, man. It's really working on humanity, because black and brown people are treated as less than or third-class citizens. And you know, this election result showed us that not even overqualified women can get a job, but we got an entitled white 1% man that can get a job that is not qualified as a felon. So hopefully some blessings in disguise come up out of this, where, you know, they would eliminate that whole felon box completely, because a felon is in the White House.
No, absolutely, and I agree with everything that you say. And it's like I feel like me and you already met each other because I always say that they always want to make these things seem like they're isolated incidents when it's systemically happening. It's happening worldwide. I identified those key points day one when my brother was murdered. When they just wanted to come out there and they're like, "Oh, we want to interview the West family," and I'm like, no, man, we ain't doing that. Before my brother, there was Anthony Anderson, and I literally connected out with Anthony Anderson's family, and his wife is on the phone now, but my brother Marcus, I'm like, no, y'all gonna do an interview with them first because Anthony Anderson was literally killed a year before, and then the media always trying to like wash things down, like, well, I understand about Anthony Anderson, but that case being worked on or whatever, we just want to focus on your brother. And I'm like, no, what y'all trying to do is make these things seem isolated when it's systemically happening. It's a worldwide thing. If they try to make it seem like, oh, it's a raindrop over here and a raindrop over there, no, we ain't a goddamn storm. Like, stop playing with me. So instantly, me and my family identified the way that the system is so dirty, and just like you said, and I used to always be like, when people like, oh, the system is broken. No, it's operating and functioning the way that it always have. It's always been there to dehumanize us, to kill us. It's the same system that upheld slavery, torture, murder, the same system that's upholding everything now that is not right. And it's horrible. It's working the way it's supposed to work, and it's disgusting. And that's why me, and I'm a Christian woman. It's not the West Coalition. This is Tawanda Jones speaking. I'm one that's big on voting. I was very disappointed at the way things turned out, and the way like a lot of people are like, oh, well, it don't make a difference if we vote type of thing. And if you each his own, that's their belief. But I believe that kind of stuff empowers white supremacy all over, and it empowers things that are not right. Because to me, if you're riding by and you see somebody getting beat to death and you don't say anything, well, guess what? You're adding on to the problem. Like, it's ridiculous. Like, my brother, just to know that he was beat to death by 17 unhinged killer maniacs from Baltimore City Police Department, as well as Morgan State University. And for this to happen in broad daylight, for this to happen with people coming out with cell phones and videoing, and to this day, we're talking about a whole decade later, we still have no video footage. We still have nothing. And we get like small changes and small things, like we were able to, because I didn't sell my soul out, I was like, y'all can take the hush money and stick it up your hind parts, because I'm going to call out not only what they did to my brother, I'm going to call out who did it and how they did it. And I didn't want to jeopardize my brother's beautiful children, money and stuff like that. And it's sad in a society that we live in, to me, that seems like it's a capitalist system that just revolves around dollar bills. A human life doesn't mean anything. It's just worrying about money. It's just saying, like, a man can work all their life and just struggle, a woman can work all their life, struggle and die and work and give your all, your whole entire soul, life, everything, working every single day of the week, and then you die and you just gone. And then they want to come in, like, if you have a life insurance, they come in, they might pay your family, pay your funeral expenses, and you get more money than what you get. But meanwhile, while you're living on earth, you're setting up that struggle. It's a capitalist system, to me, that needs to be devoured by all means necessary. Like, I done tried everything, and I'm going to keep on trying it. I'm peaceful. I've been praying on it. And as for me, God directs my path. But it's just saying the stuff, and like you said, my brother, I agree totally. We got a whole lot of work to do. And I just felt like with this latest election, we literally got set back. I felt like, okay, we're moving around the game, but, like, we're kind of getting close to our goals and everything is moving. And when this happened, it was like a big smack in the face for me, not for the West Coalition, but for Tawanda Jones, for me and my children. I can speak for me and my children, that it was devastating and heartbreaking. And it was like we got sent straight back to start, like tried all over again. I felt like it was a replay of 2016. And I'm like, you got to talk about giving officers, and even knowing what happened to George Floyd when he was doing the interview, they said he told the interviewer, yes, I will give all the officers involved full immunity. And that's what happened to me and my brother. Case like in my brother's case before, these jokers, they didn't get interrogated, they got an interview and they got full immunity. And meanwhile, they're working havoc in our community. It's disgusting. So that's what I wanted to add to the conversation. So I agree with you 1,000%.
They can hide. They were scared. Actually, and a lot of those places because the fight for black, brown, and indigenous.
Excuse me, Marquise. Marquise, can you hear me?
Shut down for the part of but one of the reasons why people pay attention after George Floyd.
We just lost Marquise.
Oh wow! Hopefully he'll come back on. So yeah, like I'm gonna try to send him a message as well. But that's why, like, this is one of the reasons why I like being boots on the ground outside. Because even with outside, we go on live and things like that. They play with my Facebook, they play with my YouTube, but it still don't stop us. Like, this is just disgusting. I feel like this brother was making some powerful key points, and then now all of a sudden, it's just sad, like, the way this is so dirty. Like, we got to defend on everything, like, with all this electronic that one way may seem like, oh, it's so perfect and so convenient. But if we look at it, to me, and this is not the West Coalition, again, this is Mrs. Jones speaking, me and Mrs. Jones, this me speaking from my heart and the way I see things, my belief. I just feel like everything is just designed by nature to set us up to fail.
Yes.
Like, they putting everything, like, I remember used to have like money and things of that nature. Now they like trying to get rid of like money, and they're putting everything on cards and transactions, like electrical transactions at any moment. Think about it, when they want to shut us down and you got all your money in the bank, you got everything right now, we're trying to go around, they want to shut us, so they can shut us down easily. Like, it's crazy, like, it's so crazy. Like, I feel like this Jetson stuff, this Jetson foolishness is not working. In some ways it works, but in other ways it can just stop us. Like, okay, if we want to screw you around, we can. If we want to freeze up your money and stop your money, we can. If we want to stop you going on live social media, we can. If we want to stop you guys from talking, because who don't use their cell phone to communicate with? Everything is like all this technology, and at any moment, when they want to stop it and play with it, they can shut it down. And that's why I say we got to go back to our old ways, where there were organic conversations that were not via Facebook or through a text message. That, like, you would literally hang out in the street with your friends and sit there until the street light come on, and then you go back inside type of thing, or whatever, just bonding and all that good stuff. Like, we really need to go back to those days, and then we really need to figure out how we're going to knock this system down. Did our brother come back on yet? Because I thought I saw him, but I'm actually watching it on my television while we're talking.
Marquise just came back. Marquise, can you hear us? We're not hearing your sound. Are you on mute? It might help, Marquise. It might help if you just come in with the by phone. I don't know if you're able to do that, and then it won't take as much bandwidth. It might work better.
And again, my brother, I apologize, and also again, for our viewers, I apologize for the technical issues that I feel like is designed by nature. Because it's interesting, when I pulled up last night and I checked everything out in my yard, everything was seemed to be fine. But when they want to place jammers all around, jammers is something that you can't really see. Like, they can place it in a flower pot, they can bury it in the ground, they can do whatever they want to do, place it near your trash cans, and it will literally shut you down and make all this kind of stuff happen. Like, do it. Look into COINTELPRO. Jacob Line, Google it. I come with receipts. So it's just disgusting. But is our brother able to hear us or able to talk now?
It looks like Marquise is frozen. Marquise, can you hear us now? Well, he's driving. He might have gone through a dead spot. Marquise, can you hear us?
Well, again, if you can hear us, my brother, if you can call me, and being as though I'm on audio with Uncle Bill, I'll be glad to add you on the conversation. So if you want to hang up, sweetie, and call me directly, because you got my personal cell phone number, call me and I will connect you via three-way, and then you can come on through audio if you like that. But while we're waiting for everything to kind of smooth out, I see a bunch of questions and comments. And if it's our beautiful Queen Kalia in here to read our questions and comments tonight.
Yes, she is.
Yes, I'm here, Tawanda.
Hey, how are you, my queen?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Trying to work through these technical difficulties, but other than that, I'm here, I'm breathing, I'm alive, I'm blessed to see another day, so I'm good. Yeah, so
that's good to hear.
While we wait for our brother, if you like, you can go on to the questions and comments, and yeah, I'll take it from there, and I'll see if I can add them on to the call. Mic check.
Mic check.
Mic check. Can y'all hear me?
Yes,
yes, we can hear you. You sound very clear now.
So my brother, we have our beautiful, this is Kalia. She's always here to check in and read our questions and comments. And I see the boards are like blown up at this moment. So she's going to read all the questions and comments. And then you can finish saying what you were saying, because it sounded like you was spitting that fire that frees up the whole entire, it explodes everything. So yeah, Kalia, it's all you.
All right. We have plenty mic checks coming in at the start from Maine, Benjamin, myself, and Linda. I commented, COVID simply exposed the racist system of capitalism. Linda said, George Floyd Square and the surrounding area is a living testament to the struggle. Many thanks from our public health group that Marquise educated about this 2 weeks ago, public health conference. Judah and Super Cardio said, mic check. And that's all the comments currently.
Awesome. So we can bring our brother back. So my brother, sorry, King, that you were cut off. So you can finish saying what we missed. So I'll hand it all back over to you. Mic check.
Mic check.
I think we may have lost Marquise again.
Oh, wow, this is really interesting. So as
I can hear y'all.
Oh, here he comes. Here he comes.
Oh, here you go. Okay, awesome. Okay.
I could hear some of y'all. It went off for a couple minutes. It keeps saying, oops, a connection failed.
Yeah, that's what it was doing to me. That's why I had to come in. So if you like, I can connect you via phone. You can talk, or you can keep trying it this way, but you can finish where you started.
I don't know what y'all missed, but I just know that I stand with a bunch of families, man. I haven't lost. Well, matter of fact, I got to take that back. I lost somebody in 1990 to a police killing, and it's just a sad situation. And again, the system is working exactly how it was designed and intended. Systemic racism is at the core of it, and it's on us to work as people, man, to try to build better communities for ourselves. I got a chance to touch Baltimore a couple years ago. I got an auntie that's working down there as a chaplain with the city of Baltimore, so I got a chance to meet Marilyn Mosby. They actually, my auntie drove us through Morgan State and, some of the surrounding areas. We went from D.C. We was in D.C. We touched down in Baltimore, and we also went to a little small place in Virginia, because the world was coming to Minnesota after the murder of George Floyd, and we connected with some people that were really brought us in and embraced us, man. And the fight is never over, specifically for Black, Brown, and Indigenous people, man. And we just got to get out our own way and build better communities for us.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I remember, like I said, my brother Brock, who does something on like the national level with a bunch of families, we joined him there, and yeah, that's how we were able to go and to the George Floyd site where he was murdered. And I just love what you guys did as coming together as community. You know what I mean? Like shut your whole entire area all the way completely down, and like literally being up at night. Like if we stayed there, I want to say like maybe overnight, if I'm not mistaken, and like it was boots on the ground. Like when we would go back out there 2-3 o'clock, you got the brothers out there, greeting them, like making sure they're not ripping and tearing stuff up, and it was really beautiful. It was, despite the circumstances, it was really beautiful.
Man, we're doing the best we can with limited resources to keep his name alive. Uh, but just to highlight all the other people that got killed that don't get that publicity like George Floyd did. That's why you probably seen a bunch of names in the street. You had the Say Their Name Cemetery, like you was mentioning, and that that's a block that I literally used to live on, and I live a block away from the square now. So I'm definitely always out as a public safety advocate because it's people that come over there knowing a bunch of visitors and tourists are coming in, and they take advantage of the police not coming over there. That's one of the crazy things because that neighborhood still struggles with gang issues and mental health and homelessness and addictions. And people like, man, I don't know George Floyd, so I'm just trying to get what I can get, however I can get it, and that's the by any means necessary movement.
Absolutely. And unfortunately, brother, that sounds exactly just how it is in Baltimore, New York, Philly, like all around the board. It's just sad. Like, and they know the neighborhoods that they treat like trash and treat the people like trash. They know, like, it's just really sad and disgusting. Like, it really is. So, like I said, I just want to give you, like, all your flowers and everything while you're here and just say, keep on doing that amazing work, keep on teaching. And can you talk a little bit about the program that you're doing about the teaching the young fellas how to become a man? If like, could you talk about that movement that you're doing as well?
Yeah, so that's a program for a mentoring that we call Becoming a Man. A lot of us grew up in single parent homes, moms doing the best they could, but they couldn't really teach us how to be men. So our examples of men were drug dealers, pimps, gangbangers, and that's what we idolized and grew up because I grew up in the area when we were watching Scarface and watching New Jack City. So naturally these are the things that I try to think was the right thing to do to come up. And unfortunately, you lose a lot of brothers, gang violence, prison. There's brothers that I talked to that have been in prison since I was in high school. And I get to actually go in prisons now, working on criminal justice reform and restorative justice. And I'm 5 years out of prison, man. I did almost 12 years in federal prison. And I don't know if you can see this. This is for the and Mike Burrell man who were murdered in prison for something that he didn't do. And it was the same prosecutors, Amy Klobuchar, who's now a senator, and Mike Freeman, that didn't even think it was enough evidence to prosecute a murder on George Floyd. After we watched the video, you mean to tell us that's not enough evidence? Come on now. So, I mentor. I be what I needed at a young age. I was my mom's only child, so I work in a high school as a security monitor. So I take all liberties, man, and really trying to be what I needed at a young age, man. And I take that to heart because it's serious.
Well, that's awesome. And I definitely want to bring you back on because I want you to meet my brother Boom. I think the world of him, and he does a lot. Like, he was convicted of a crime that he ain't do, and he wound up beating. He was like on America's Most Wanted, but he constantly, through trial and tribulation, give back to the community. And he constantly, he does something like political things. They call the streets to the seats, and where they're dealing with politics, as we call it, and things like that. But he also goes into the jails, into the schools. Like I done been everywhere with Brother Boone. He always makes sure no matter what city I'm in, he be like, hey, sis, where you at? Okay, you over there? All right, my brother so-and-so going to hit you up. Like he always makes sure I'm good. I don't care what part of the world I'm at. I could be in Baltimore, D.C., and Texas, Tennessee, it doesn't matter. He gonna make sure I'm straight. But I definitely want to connect you and him, and also my brother Shorty. We call him Shut Him Down Shorty. He does a lot of stuff by his. He a one man show. Like he'll shut him down by his whole self. So yeah, but it's a lot of brothers that I definitely want to connect you with that's doing boots on the ground work here in my city. And like,
Yeah,
you know,
definitely
a lot
looking
of
to it.
different records. And I'm saying like my other brother JC, he does a lot as well. Like he was feeding the whole entire city. Like he started during the pandemic, feeding everybody, dying and everybody. He wasn't just feeding them; he was literally giving them household products, everything, like making sure they were straight. And right now he's going through a process where people are trying to screw him over, but God is good, and I'm just praying for our brothers. And I definitely, like I said, want to connect you to the right brothers that's literally putting blood. And as Boom, my brother Boomer said, putting skin in the game. That's what Boom said, like you got to put skin in the game. Yeah, so I definitely want to give you a big shout out for and definitely want to make the connections with these brothers that remind me so much of you, and that that's literally there for the heart, and you inspire me in so many ways. Just the way you talk, I feel the passion, I feel the love, I feel the commitment, because you got a lot of people that unfortunately that and I'm sorry for your loss that you went through, and it's sad that you had to go through something like that, losing your loved one through police violence and things of that nature. It's sad. It's like it's a hard pill that no one wants to swallow. I never thought that my big brother, the man that raised me, he was more than just my big brother. He was my father figure, my best friend, my church partner. He was my everything, my everything. And for him to be snatched at the tender age of 44, when he was just really getting to vibe and live his life, and they wonder why I'm out here, boots on the ground, and we never go anywhere. Never, ever. So yeah, I just wanted to, like I said, thank you, my king. And also, real quick, I wanted to see if you wanted to say any more, and then I wanted to talk about another brother that was murdered, and unfortunately, his 5 year anniversary is coming up, soon, this month actually. So I want to talk a little bit about that, but I wanted to see if there's anything else that you wanted to share, my king. Mic check.
Mike check.
Okay. I'm always shouting out my team, man. I work with this brother named Reggie Ferguson, Bridget Stewart, Steve Floyd, and actually Steve Floyd is in Africa right now. We got a program we call Rites of Passage, where we're taking people back to the motherland, man, and tap into our real culture, man, because we were stripped of everything when our people were enslaved and stolen from Africa and brought here and as and indentured servants, man. So shout out to Steve Floyd, who's in Africa right now, man, and he goes there twice a year, man. He's one of the mentors that was bringing like I was a hooper growing up, so he was one of the guys that was like really into basketball. Had came up here from Chicago, man, and was really taking people from different gangs and neighborhoods, man, and getting them together. Like remember the Titans, the movie that Denzel plays in, and he was on that type of time, man, way back in the '80s, trying to get us to really get together, man. And a lot of it worked. Some of it didn't. Some of us had to go through other trials and tribulations and hardships. But the murder of George Floyd, man, really put a energy pack on a lot of people's backs, man, to really become activists and the kings and queens that we are, man. A lot of times we sell ourselves short, man, due to some of the situations that we've been through, upbringings, and you know we focus too much on what happened versus what we could be. And a lot of people would look at us and think like, man, what's wrong with them for doing drugs and gangs and all that, not realizing that something happened to them. So don't take the approach that something's wrong with them. Take the approach that think what happened to them. So again, our motto is transforming street energy into community energy, man, and really putting the neighbor back into the neighborhood. And the neighborhoods don't change if you don't really tap into the people that are really part of the neighborhood. I don't care if they're on some negative stuff at some point. Those negative things can be positive because they create character and strength, man. If I didn't go through what I went through, I wouldn't be who I am now.
Mm-hmm. Valid, brother.
Yeah.
It's
And
really
that's
all.
like I said, it's just amazing. And then like going through these struggles, people that are hide behind the name in the face and act like they're putting their work and helping, and they're really not. Like they might have started out that way, and then it just changed in the blink of an eye, and it's just sad. Like. And I'm just so sad that like when you came to Baltimore, you didn't get to meet other people. I know you mentioned that you met Marilyn Mosby, and I know she did the thing for like Freddie Gray, but it still was felt like it was a lot. Like, and then you talk about like somebody being like falsely accused. There was a brother named Keith Davis Jr. Thank God he's free now, but it wasn't because of Marilyn Monroe. She kept relentlessly going after his brother, knowing that he didn't do anything, and he was almost like literally a year after Freddie Gray was murdered. Not even a year, within that same year, he was another brother that was shot up. But the only difference from Freddie Gray, Keith Davis Jr. survived, and he was able to tell his story relentlessly from a jail cell with the strong backings of his wife, Kelly Davis, and they're like a whole force, force to be working with. And speaking out, telling the truth, and by the grace of God, had it not been God. And I remember literally when he was falsely convicted of 50 years, and I remember looking at his beautiful white face, Kelly, and saying, "Baby, it's not over until God says it's over." Like God got all this. But this ain't it. It's just getting beginning. It's just started. I remember her saying, "I hope you right. I hope you right." And God knows, and it shows right now he's a free man. But it wasn't about our money. It's unfortunate, like that these faces that want to attach themselves to certain movements to say I did this and I did that. But when the time did, even in my brother case, I gave this lady all the information about my brother. She said, "Meet up with me." Then it was like several like things that we did in the community with other politicians that literally pushed up and said, "Look, you need to open Mr. West case up." And she's like, "Well, if they come up with new evidence, I wouldn't have no problem with, sitting down with Miss Jones and we could take it to the next level." Literally, I went and got my brother's body dug up out the ground with $50,000 of my own money. And I'm a teacher, like I make pennies. I'm well repeated to pay call, but I'm in it for the kids. I'm not in it for the benefits of the money because there's no money there. Like I have 2 degrees. One of them is in education and one is in social work. The social work doubles the amount of money, but the social work also is the oppression. And I will not be an oppressor as a part of a system that is pretty much telling me, oh, because I gave a man bus tokens that walked to the social service building in hot weather, about an 80-year-old man, by the way, from West Baltimore, and they literally tell me, "Oh, I almost got rolled up because they're like, oh, you too nice. The system is to kind of break them down, and we don't want them to pay." And I said, "Oh, hell no, I got to get out of this." Like, I'm like, I'm going to fall back. This is the time I'm going to fall back on my early childhood education degree. Like, we ain't doing this. But my whole point is that people play games. They say one thing and their actions does not line up. And I'm just so sorry that you didn't get a chance to, like, really meet people that's boots on the ground. It's like riding like how you ride. And I want to meet those type of folks. So with that being said, I'm going to check in with Kalia real quick to see if we have any more questions and comments. Mic check.
Mic check.
Mic check.
Mic check. Just a few more comments from last time. AC Britt said mic check. And then Mosby, LOL. No disrespect, but she never helped Tawanda or any other families, and she has an ankle monitor now. And last one's from Super Cardio saying mic check.
Oh, awesome. Thank you for sharing that. And yeah, and my brother, do you want to say anything else before I bring up? I was telling you about the brother that literally murdered five. It's his anniversary is actually coming up this month. I believe it's on the 19th, and I wanted to get Uncle Bill to share information about that. But is there anything else you want to share or say and bring to the conversation?
Yeah, Yeah, I mean, I wasn't trying to big her up or nothing like that, just to let that be known, because she is a prosecutor at the end of the day. But she did take the time out to, connect with us, and that's only because my auntie is a chaplain for the city of Baltimore. But we got a chance to meet some of the brothers that are called returning citizens in D.C. and some of the brothers that took us around, some street brothers that drove us around in Baltimore a little bit, man, and showed us some of the rough neighborhoods, man, and the struggle was real. And then I've read books about Baltimore because I know it was a murder capital a couple different times, and I know it's rough down there. And I'm looking like, man, it took me back to the '90s when gangbanger was heavy in places like Minnesota, and the struggle was real, man. So we just out here fighting, man, trying to keep people's names and families alive, and just not let them die down, because think of all the people that we don't even know about that don't
Mhm.
get national attention, and they're lighting candles every year, letting off balloons, and their circles get smaller and smaller and smaller.
Right.
So we stand in
Absolutely,
solidarity with
man.
them.
Like you said, broken down. I'm glad you got to do other things like with him, Baltimore. That's good. And a big shout out to you, because I know that's a hard job being a chaplain, just like to share news about deaths and just. I know that's a real hard job, and shout out to her for her job that she has to go through, and that she's probably doing the best she can doing with the resources she has. So big shout out to your auntie, and big shout out to you as well. So, real quick, I just wanted to share about Alex Flores. He was killed in LA 5 years ago. And the interesting part that Uncle Bill went out tonight, now, and his anniversary, well, I would say commemoration, is coming up on the 19th of this month. But his killer name was Stephen Ruiz. And one of the first killers that murdered my brother that we highlight extensively in this video is killer Barney, Horace, whatever his damn name is. He's a damn killer. But it's Bernardo Ruiz, and his last name is Ruiz as well. So these killers are like treacherous, and it's just sad. And then I like the fact that if I don't get anything out of it, the good part that I get about all this is just showing people we don't stop fighting for our loved ones. We keep being their voice. We keep on doing things that are hard and things of that nature. And literally, like we started West Wednesday for in honor of my big brother. Literally, they was doing. I don't know if they still doing it in LA, but his sister, I met her, beautiful sister. She had said that they was doing Flores Friday. Every Friday they would go out somewhere and protest, and I think that's amazing. And then I think about Donna Rochester, who was murdered, and his mother, beautiful sister Danielle, is like fighting like hell to get accountability for her baby. And that's just so sad. She goes out boots on the ground every single week. So this is what it's about. And after I let Uncle Bill speak, I'm gonna bring Nicole into the conversation, because I think she's probably still on here, and I'm gonna see if she wanna add anything before we go into our sadness and kind of wrap up. So I'll do a mic check, and Uncle Bill, it's all yours. Mic check.
Mike.
Mic check.
Right.
So, as you said, Tawanda, Alex Flores, his 5-year anniversary is coming up on the 19th, which is Tuesday next week, just the day before our next West Wednesday. And for that reason, it's good for us to bring it up tonight. For a long time, they took up the tradition we have here, doing a rally once a week, the West Wednesday rally. And as you said, they did Flores Fridays. They don't do that anymore, but they still do a lot of stuff. They're still active. So I just want to read a little statement about who Alex was, and then the demands that they're fighting for. Alex was born on April the 4th, 1985, in Los Angeles, California. He came from a hard working class family. He was a loving and caring son, brother, uncle, and friend. He would enjoy spending time and playing with his nieces and nephews. He was always bringing laughter one way or another. On the morning of November 19th, 2019, he was spotted walking a neighbor's child to school after he noticed the child walking alone. That was just who Alex was, always looking out for his loved ones and the community. However, Alex did struggle with mental illness, and soon after walking the neighbor's child to school, he was shot and killed by an LAPD officer of the Shootin' Newton Division. Alex needed support and help, but like so many others in mental health crises, he was murdered. The Flores family and community have continued to fight as we approach his 5-year anniversary. And the demands they're fighting for are the following: a meeting with the district attorney, that Stephen Ruiz, that's the cop who murdered him, that Stephen Ruiz be indicted for murder, the release of the coroner's autopsy report. Sounds familiar, doesn't it? Full compensation for this wrongful death and funeral and burial services, an end to LAPD's shoot to kill policy, a halt to all police contact with those suffering from mental illness, an abolition of all forms of policing and criminalization of our communities, and finally, reopen the cases, prosecute killer cops, abolish the police. So they got a long list there, and it's a long struggle. And I just wanted to, excuse me, bring that out this evening. Mike check.
Oh, Mike check, and thank you, Uncle
Mike
Bill.
check. Mike check.
Very important. And it just seems like it's just a different name, same story. No justice, no peace. It's so sad and disgusting. And no further ado, I'm going to bring our sister Nicole on, who actually advocates for her father-in-law, Anthony Anderson, who was murdered, like I said, a year before my brother Tyrone West was killed. And it's just so sad and disgusting. And then literally to be fighting for your father-in-law and to have your own 16-year-old daughter murdered through, who would say, community violence, because that never was solved or whatever. And I don't know, like, the grim details or whatever, but it's just sad to actually go through something like that. You're already grieving and being a support system for your husband, and then you turn around within 2 weeks later, your own child is murdered. It's heartbreaking, devastating. But again, just a shout out to my brother Marcus and a shout out to Nicole, and it's all yours, Queen.
Thank you so much, Queen. It's always, hard to be on here, but also an honor at the same time that I'm asked to come on here and speak about my loved ones. My father-in-law, Anthony Anderson, like my queen was just saying, he was killed in 2021.
2012.
12. I'm sorry. My brain is. Sometimes it just saying it over and over again. It just is so crazy or whatever. I still can't even believe it. It just seems like it happened just yesterday. And I tried to be there for my husband as much as I could and give him a shoulder to lean on. Only for 2 weeks later, like Queen also said, my 16-year-old daughter was murdered in the streets of Baltimore. It's, I don't know. Sometimes I don't even want to get up out of the bed in the morning because it's so disgusting that we are supposed to love one another. We're supposed to be family. And we could take someone else's life like that with a drop of a dime and it not matter and continue on with our day. I have to listen every week as my queen goes on about how she feels about the loss of her brother, Tyrone West. And I do take my strength from her to see her get up and fight this fight day after day after day, week after week after week. And it doesn't get any easier, no matter how much you say it, no matter how much you try to fight, no matter how many people join in and try to support. It's still a pain that, unless you've been through it personally, you can't understand it. I try to do other things to occupy my time, to try to take my mind off of it, so to speak. Doesn't work. But like I said, and I'm going to continue to say, as long as I have breath in my body, I will never let Anthony Anderson or Ajay Harar's name die. And thank you again, Tawanda, for allowing me to come on here and speak and to put out there my feelings and emotions about my loved ones, because I really do miss them. But I'll never see them again. Mic check.
Mic check.
Mic check.
Mic check.
And I'm sending you a big virtual hug as well. And you know, you might not see them here on earth, but they are right here with you in spirit. And I believe, and it's not the West Coalition, it's Tawanda Jones again speaking.
Right.
I believe that, you know, God is so good that when it's your time to see them in heaven, and they'll be waiting for you with their arms, with the biggest hug in the world.
Thank you so much, Queen.
Yeah, so real quickly, I want to go back to check in with see if any more questions and everything, because I'm looking at the time and I respect our brother time, I respect Nicole time, I respect Rachel time. Like, she has stepped up, and you know, and she's been doing this for months now, you know, since our brother been, you know, I've been doing things, and you know that whatever he's doing and whatever, and I'm wishing him well and whatever he's doing. But for her to step up with her time, and I respect everybody's time, I just want to say thank you. But real quick, can we check in with the lady, see if we have any additional questions before we go to the sailors? And unfortunately, last week we didn't have the sailors, but I told you, I said, watch when we come back. We probably have 20 plus names, and tonight we got 26 names on the National Police Brutality List, which is
Wow.
which is horrible. So just want to check in, Kalia, and then check in to see if our brother want to say anything, and then we're going to go straight in to our disclosure, and then we're going to go into the sad list. Mic check.
Mic
Mic check.
Mic check.
Mic check.
Mic check.
Yes, we have a few more comments. One from Super Cardio, another mic check. AC Britt said it was June of 2015 for Keith Davis Jr. And she also said 2015 was a rough year. It's the same year they did what they did to my family. Mic check.
Mic check.
Mic check. It was a rough year. Heart goes out to Dana, Keith Davis Jr., just everything, and Freddie Gray family. You know, it's just sad. Like, my heart just goes out to all of us. Like, yeah. So, brother, Marquise, do you want to say anything before we actually go into our sad list tonight? Mic check.
Mic check.
Mic check.
Nah, I really don't got nothing to add. I'm just honored to be here, that anybody even wants to hear from me. And I stand with the families in solidarity, man, to, you know, be the voice of some people that can't talk. Because I could have easily been one of those people that was snuffed off by the police, and then they would say he was involved in drugs and guns and all that other stuff. So I get to be a voice for people, man, that can't talk. So I'm just honored.
We're honored to have you here, brother.
Absolutely,
Right.
absolutely.
Right.
Yeah. So
I second that.
real quick, I want to see if anybody, including Kalia, anybody on the West Coalition Green Room, do you guys want to say or ask any questions or comments before I go into the disclaimer? Mic check.
Mic check.
I want to make a quick statement, Tawanda, before we start the lists. And you know, we talk a lot about how the system is working the way it's supposed to, and when they talk about the continuation between slavery and Jim Crow and now mass incarceration and these sorts of things. In this last election, there was a lot of stuff that went on that obviously is hard on a lot of people. But one thing that I heard that surprised me, that has not gotten a lot of press, and so I want to bring it out. The state of California, there was a ballot initiative, Proposition 6, on the ballot this time around, and Proposition 6 was designed to outlaw the practice of quote, involuntary labor in prisons. And the California prison, they are allowed to just basically assign you a job that you will work at for 74 cents on an hour. And if you refuse to do that job or don't do it properly, they're allowed to take away privileges and put you in solitary and otherwise punish you in that sort of way. So this is essentially slavery.
Right.
And Proposition 6 was designed to close that off, and the jobs would still be there, but they would be voluntary. And so people could refuse to do them, people could negotiate for more pay, that sort of thing. The voters in California, which you always hear are so liberal and so progressive and so forth, voted down Proposition 6. They voted for the continuation of slavery in the California prison system. And I think that just speaks to the continuation of racism and capitalism, that marriage there. And so I just wanted to make sure that sort of got some. It hasn't been covered hardly at all in the national, in the mainstream media, the national news. So I wanted to get that out there in this medium. Thank you.
Thank you, Brother Brown, for sharing that. Definitely appreciate it. So yeah.
I want to add a little something. I want to add a little.
Go ahead, Uncle Bill.
Yeah, I want to add a little something. Marquise, in Maryland, we don't have district attorneys. They call them state's attorneys. So Baltimore has what's called a city state's attorney. And if anyone were going to prosecute the cops that killed Tyrone, normally he would be the one. And he's been saying that there's a conflict of interest and he can't do it. So it turns out just up the street from me on Greenmount Avenue, there's a barber shop. And the barber there told me that he comes in every 2 weeks to get his haircut. And the barber invited me to come in so I could speak with Ivan Bates. That's the city state's attorney. So I just went up there today and it worked. I had a chat with him. So I'll give a report on it in the future, but I just want to let it be known that discussion occurred. As you said, Tawana, he was likely to blow some smoke up my behind. And I would say that was the essence of it, but I'll give a more detailed report at some point.
All right, and I'm at the uncut birds when we get off.
All right.
Yeah, definitely. I smell the flames. I smell the flames right now. Foolishness. But anyway, yeah, so just literally been out here for 590 weeks, 4,130 days. That's a long time to be doing anything. But that's just pure dedication, determination, and love. So I just said all that to say I'm going to go right into our statement, and we're going to take it from there. It is a mission of the West Coalition to work for accountability for Tyrone West and all victims of police brutality. We believe that there is a connection between police brutality and community violence. Police can use de-escalation strategies to diffuse situations without necessarily using force. And we encourage community members to resolve disputes without violence. Care deeply about those families impacted by police brutality and community violence. We seek to uplift their names of their loved ones from a place of respect and care. We obtained these lists of names who were shot and killed by the police or lost to community violence on the national and local news outlets. We know that these are by no means exhaustive lists, and we don't have detailed information on any of the circumstances surrounding the deaths of the people. By reading these names, we're not condoning violent behaviors on the part of anyone involved in the situation. So at this time, the time now is 8:45. We're just going to take 1 minute and we're going to come back and we're going to go into the community violence list and then we'll go on to the national list. Mic check.
Mic check.
Mic check.
All right, the time now is 8:46. So, Brother Brown, I'm going to hand it all over to you. Is there any names on our community violence list? Mic check.
Mic check.
Mic check. Thank you, Twanda. We do have some names this week. So, just the usual, just what we always say, that each of these persons is a little universe unto themselves. Each of these people had loved ones. They had mothers. They had fathers. They had brothers, sisters, coworkers, just people who like to hang with them down the corner. And all those people have been, have had something torn from their lives. And so, and we as a whole community have been damaged by the violence. And so we read these names not only to uplift them and to uplift the people who love them, but also to dedicate ourselves to this business that we are in of ending this violence, this community violence, the police violence. All of it has to end. And so I would ask you just to echo these people's names back to me. And so we begin. Deandre Yelverton.
Deandre Yelverton.
Bianca Nelson.
Bianca
Nelson.
Roger Hawkins.
Roger Hawkins.
Cameron Holt.
Cameron Holt.
Isaiah Shackelford.
Isaiah Shackelford.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, so Uncle Bill, I'm going to turn it over to you.
All right.
Mic check.
Mic check. So I'll be uplifting the names of 26 people who were killed by police around the country between October the 22nd and through the most recent case we know, October the 31st. And it's sticking to the average horrible nature of this problem, which is about 3 people a day. That was actually, I think, slightly more than that, killed by the police. First to be uplifted, Terrell let me say the background. From Chamblee, Georgia, on the 22nd, 59 years old, Terrell Hargrove.
Terrell Hargrove.
And then on the same day, 22nd again, in Ravenna, Ohio, 43 years old, Matthew Fries.
Matthew Fries.
Again on the 22nd, in Malden, West Virginia, 41 years old, Philip Dooley. In Corpus Christi, Texas, again on the 22nd, 27 years old, Christopher Smith.
Christopher Smith.
Yet again on the 22nd, in Poplar Bluff, Missouri, a man whose name has been withheld by the police at this point. Ashe. On the 23rd, in DeKalb Township, Illinois, 42 years old, Abram Perez.
Abram Perez.
In Houston, Texas, on the 23rd, 26 years old, Ivan Gutierrez.
Ivan Gutierrez.
Again on the 23rd, in Sardis, Alabama, 54 years old, Ian Sullivan.
Ian Sullivan.
On the 23rd, again, in Haines City, Florida, 41 years old, Adain Rodriguez.
Adain Rodriguez.
Once again on the 23rd, in Punta Gorda, Florida, 42 years old, Elroy Clark.
Elroy Clark.
Moving to the 25th, in Fairfield, California, 58 years old, is the man who was killed in this instance. His name has been withheld so far by the police.
Killer cops. Ashe.
And then on the 25th, again, in Dickinson, North Dakota, 56 years old. Again, this man's name has been withheld by the police. Ashe. Yet again on the 25th, in Mino, North Dakota, 39 years old, Michael Bryant.
Michael Bryant.
Moving to the 26th, in Carmel by the Sea, California, 27 years old, James Marshall.
James Marshall.
On the 26th, again, in Fresno, California, 40 years old, Andy Morales.
Andy Morales.
On the 27th, in Willow Grove, Pennsylvania, 68 years old, a man whose name has been withheld by the police.
Cell blocks for
Killer Cops. Ashe.
Ashe. On the 28th, in Findlay, Ohio, 17 years old, Calvin Darafeth. Darafeth, I believe.
Darafeth.
And then on the 28th, in Houston, Texas, in this case, it's a man, we don't know the age. His name has been withheld by the police.
Cell blocks for Killer Cops. Ashe.
Ashe. On the 28th, in Delton, Michigan, 37 years old, Jeremiah Johnson.
Jeremiah
Johnson.
Again on the 28th, in Jacksonville, Florida, 54 years old, DeJuan Jackson.
DeJuan Jackson.
On the 28th, in Tulsa, Oklahoma, 110 years, I think it is, after the Tulsa mass racist killing, 39 years old, Kyle Miller. On the 29th, in Phillips, ME is Maine, right? I believe so. Thank you. 61 years old, Lawrence Scott.
Lawrence Scott.
On the 30th, in Saraland, Alabama, 35 years old, Juan Puente.
Juan Puente.
On the 30th, again, in Conyers, Georgia, 40 years old, Jesse Roach.
Jesse Roach.
On the 30th, yet again, in Triangle, Virginia, 26 years old, Andy Garay.
Andy Garay.
And the last person murdered by the police that we're upholding this evening was in Marrero, Louisiana. It's on the 31st, 42 years old, Wendell Smith.
Wendell Smith.
And that's the latest report on the abomination of endless police killings in the United States. Mic check.
Mic check.
Mic check.
So again, I want to thank our King, Marcus. Thank you so much for joining, sharing, and most importantly, thank you for all the dedication and loyalty you have on, and our people, and just helping us out in every which way you can. And hopefully this will not be the last time that we connect, and I'll bring you back on. And a shout out to Rachel, shout out to the whole entire West Coalition. I'm wishing safe travels to, and we miss them so much, Hillary and Dan, the Hellabacks. We really miss them being boots on the ground. And it's just sad that we're reading off so many names, and it's just a sad time in America. But it's our obligation, it's our duty to fight for our freedom, and it's our duty to win. And just like our beautiful sister said, we have nothing, absolutely nothing to lose but our change. And thank you, Khalil, for reading the comments. And thank you, everybody, for watching, commenting, and sharing. And if you're on YouTube, please hit the like, share, and subscribe button. And we will see you guys boots on ground, because we're going to be outside. I don't care what the weather is next week. We will be boots on ground at 7:30, and we will let you guys know what location we will be at. And we will be boots on ground outside next week for West Wednesday. Live to love, love to live. I love you all, and we will see you. And thank my queen, Nicole, and thank you to your husband for all that you guys are doing. Healing through the pain and just giving back. Good luck on the movie that you're involved in, and the football team, and all that wonderful, amazing stuff that you're doing. So just a big shout out to everybody. Live to love to live. I love you all. And unfortunately, we brought you in with the sad, disgusting video of Ruiz, Killer Ruiz, one of the first killer cops out of the 17 maniacs that murdered my unarmed brother, Tyrone West. And a big shout out to my sister, Angela. We're always lifting up Timothy Fleming's name. Just, we're lifting up all the victims' names. The ones that we don't even know about. We're lifting up everybody. So live to love to live. Stay tuned for the final part of the video. And let's just figure out we got to knock this daggone system down. Mic check.
Mic check. Tawanda, there's a couple more comments if Kalia wants to read them.
Oh, sure. Absolutely, if she wants to. Thank you for that.
Yeah, there were just a couple that I added after Brian gave the information about the law that was passed in California. I was just thanking him for, clarifying that. And from my point of view, my own personal opinion, I feel that substantial change can't be done under capitalism. Organizing and fighting for an equitable world instead are necessary, not voting.
I definitely respect your opinion, but as for me, I'm going to vote till these cows and jokers get out of town, because at the end of the day, our heads was chopped off. My ancestors got their heads and they still doing dirty stuff. And I still believe that everything is rigged, but I'm still going to do my part respectfully. So live to love to live. I love you all. We will see you boots on the ground next week. Mic check.
Mic check.
And Mr. West begging for his life, and Mr. Salam begging for his child to be excluded and comforted from what was taking place. Not for himself, but for his 3-year-old child.
Case number 4, Adina Britt and family, September 10th, 2015.
My name is Adina Britt, and I wanted to submit a 30-second testimonial that Jorge Omar Bernardez Ruiz is one of the 11 terrorists that came into my house performing a home invasion in September 2015, terrorizing my entire family and even holding my 12-year-old son at gunpoint. He needs to be stopped.
Case number 5, unidentified arrestee, assaulted in 2016.
I suggest you back the fuck up. No, why you want to talk to me? Why would you say that?
Again, this video did not surface until the summer of 2020. Case 6, Thomas McCullough, May 2016 and February 2017.
I heard my front door coming off the hinges like it exploded.
Thomas McCullough says it happened twice. In May 2016 and February 2017, Baltimore City Police burst through his green front door and raided his Pimlico home.
They said police. They come up, shotguns, guns.
He says officers ransacked the place, looking for drugs, money, and weapons. He took pictures of the damage he says they left behind.
Tell us where the drugs are, the scales, the guns, and the large amounts of money.
Nothing was found. Now he's suing police, claiming officers, including a former member of the Gun Trace Task Force, frightened him, his wife, and father-in-law when the officers conducted what his suit calls an illegal search of his home. The owner of the house tells 11 News after the second raid, he had to replace the front door. McCullough and his attorney say they want Baltimore police held accountable.
There is a colossal breach of trust.
And McCullough tells us following both raids, no one was arrested or charged.
This all begs the question, when will Baltimore City State's attorney see the prosecution of Bernardez Ruiz as warranted?
They were the stopping officers in these so-called jump-out cars, unmarked and so forth, that stopped both the West vehicle and the Salam vehicle without probable cause. And these officers are the ones that also were joined by others, but they are the ones who initiated the stops, pulled both men out of the vehicles, and commenced the vicious activity that was thrust upon them.
And the officer Ruiz that started this attack is still working with promotions. He is now sergeant. But the fact that this repeat violent offender had a history leading up to my brother. There was Darrell Harris, there was James Green, Joseph Green, Abdul Salam. No one family deserves to be brutally murdered or brutalized by this repeat violent offender Ruiz. It is time we take action. The time is now.
Baltimore police officer Jorge Bernardes Ruiz is a repeat violent offender. Based on these accounts, in accordance with the law, We the West Coalition call for him to be fired, prosecuted, and incarcerated.
We're more than hashtags and body bags. We're more than being 6 feet in the dirt and pictures and buttons on t-shirts. Our lives matter.
For the safety of our city, the prevention of further harm, and the justice for these families, we see no other option.
And again, I'll say, the time is now.